your kids, 8 in the morning to 10 in the morning, Adam Motorsports off Tuolumne Road in Sonora, California. We're going to be there. Again, that's Jack Griffith's district and Daniel Mercury, who's running for California governor. And I'm going to be there. Good friend of mine, Daniel Rico, actually opened up his shop for all of us to be able to do a meet and greet with the everyday worker. Why? Because the truth is, politicians never go to the blue-collar worker. They only go to their meetings, they only go to their local places, and they never actually interact with the real working people. 3 different candidates who are blue-collar workers, love the California people, love our state, love our country, want to make a difference, but we want to reach everyday people. Not the 10% of the GOPs or the Democratic Party, but the real working Americans. What was the moment in your life that got your interest in politics? What was the thing about it that made you see something is off in our government? That's a very good question. What made me want to run? Governor Brown. It's about the way to say it. Governor Brown wanted me to run. Made me want to run for office. When Proposition 10 came and they struck California cash bail and they wanted to get rid of it. No vote, no nothing. Governor Brown signed an executive order that cash bail was going to be done at the end of that year. The bail companies, the surety companies got involved and they did Prop 25, which most of us voted no. So we kept cash bail on the books. When I realized that government had that much control over small businesses that they could just take you out of business for no reason, you're asking yourself, how can a governor, how can an assemblyman or an senator of the state of California just take somebody's job and livelihood away from them with absolutely nothing? I started looking at where I can make the biggest difference at the time. So never got into politics in my life, never knew anything really about politics. I was just like everybody else. That's a Republican candidate. You just go ahead and vote for him or this person or that person. But I never really understood what it was like to be in politics or what the differences really were per say what an assemblyman did, what a senator did, what the governor did, what a lieutenant governor did. I never knew any of that. So I went back, I did some homework. I researched what it took. I said the biggest difference you're going to make is trying to be in government. So the recall was coming up. We started putting our campaign together for 2022 to run for governor. Never realized how much money it actually took to run a campaign and how hard it is to actually get donations if you're not very well known or if you already don't have a lot of money. So we ran during the recall because we knew we could make a difference. The more you get into politics and the more you start digging into the California problems, the more you realize how screwed up the whole system is and how we've been blindfolded for years just to vote for a certain party or a certain person. And we really didn't know anything about these people. I started going to places and meeting some of the people that were in office. And it's funny how they shrug you off. It's like you're not important to them. You only become important when they want your money. That's what got me into politics. That's what really got me into saying we can make a difference. I ran on the recall. We ended up 25th out of 48 people. Not bad when you look at somebody who's never unknown, not a whole lot of money out there, but a lot of grassroots support. When the recall got the shammies of the recall, because I'll call it that, because the recall, we were never going to win it. We never had real support from the Republican Party or anybody else to actually push the recall to happen. The Democrats got together. They brought the vice president, they brought the president of the United States, the speaker of the House, senators, Congress people into California supporting one party, making sure Gavin Newsom stayed in office. And you look at the other side and you're like, what's going on here? Where's our Republican representation? Where are the people that are in office that should actually be out here saying, yes, we got a chance to change the governor of California and actually make it into a Republican state, fix some of the problems in California? Nobody showed up for us. Nobody showed up for the people. Nobody showed up for the working people. A lot of us like Donald Trump. A lot of us voted for Donald Trump. Where was Donald Trump and the Trump family during the recall? Because California is a crucial state. If you can flip California, you can win a presidential election. Where was Donald Trump during that? Not one person from the Trump campaign came and tried to help California. Then if you watch the recall, there was a lot of people that worked for Trump that wanted to jump in the recall, and everybody got on their bandwagon. But nobody realized that nobody was here helping us. Gurnell, where was he? Where is he? All these people disappeared. All the people that we supported for president, that we went out and had truck rallies, that we went out and fought, left us. So after the recall happened, or didn't happen, what happened was that I looked at everything, and I looked financially. I can't run for governor. We're not there yet. We don't have the financial backing to actually run for governor. It takes a lot of money. Gavin Newsom spent $200 million on the recall. The highest Republican who got any money was Larry Elder, who's not even a Republican. He's actually a libertarian. And he got $6 million and didn't even come close. Though we had a bigger problem than that when they made it a Republican versus a Democrat. On the recall, the Democrats did a great job of making it one versus the other instead of making it what it really was, the California people or the California taxpayers versus Gavin Newsom. And then all the other 48 people were going against each other for one job. But they made it about Larry Elder versus Gavin Newsom. We had a bigger problem. Half the people who are registered to vote in the state of California actually showed up to vote. So instead of 22 million people showing up to vote, we only had 11 million people because of words like voter fraud, voter integrity, dominion. That killed our election. We killed it ourselves. See, it's easy to steal an election when you steal people's hopes. You can't blame a machine for people not going out and voting. You can't blame voter fraud if nobody went out and voted. See, voter fraud became easier to do when you're making people scared and you're telling them their vote don't count. It's easier to point out. But the reality of it is they broke us. They took our freedoms to actually go out and vote. Why? Because we didn't go out and vote. So if you want to make a difference, if you want to talk about voter integrity, if you want to talk about elections legit, do me and yourself and the rest of the country in California a favor. Go out and vote. Then we can look for voter fraud, stolen elections. But till we get out there and vote, you can't say anything because we're not doing our part to make sure that voter integrity is still there by us going out and voting. We're not doing our participation by not getting involved. And that's what happened during the recall. So that's what got me into politics a little bit. So we looked at a couple different districts. We have a place in Merced. So we said, hey, we're a resident of District 13. It's a perfect district for us to run. I was one of the very few unknown candidates that ran on the recall that actually scored in Merced County. Long roots there from jobs, house, family. Over the years, we have built a great community. So that's why we're running in District 13. Because why would you run for Congress now if you know California's messed up? First of all, we need to get name recognition. Second of all, we could do a lot more in the federal level for the United States when it comes to border security, forest management, education, employment. XL Pipeline was shut down. Why didn't Congress step in there and say something and do something to stop Joe Biden from doing it? So that made me say, you know what? I need to go to Congress. We need to get in there. We need to fix the federal problems to help California build a name. Maybe in 4 years, come back and run for governor after we have built a solid following. Or if our job's really good and what we're doing, do another 4 years in Congress and be done after 8 to 10 years, no longer. I don't want to be a career politician. Never had an idea of being a career politician. But I'm tired of the career politicians who first work in state level for 22 years, then they go to Congress for 18 years, and nothing changes. That's the definition of insanity. We keep voting the same people in over and over again, expecting a different result. Well, there isn't a different result. We get the same results one time after another. We flip one seat and we get excited, but that's it. We don't really do anything else. So let's read one more question here. What do you say to people in the region who say it's not our purpose to be involved in worldly things like politics? Well, I'll tell you this, local level or worldwide politics. It is our job to get involved. Why? Because that's what the Constitution was based on. That's what your vote's about. We don't have a king for a reason. See, if you think that you shouldn't get involved in politics, whether it's local politics or global politics, then you should go back to having a king. Let the king make the decisions. But we got away from the king to let the people of the country make decisions on what our foreign policies are. A lot of you don't know this. President Washington's foreign policy, anybody really know what that was? Stay out of it. That was his foreign policy. We don't need to be somewhere. We don't need to put our noses in other people's business. Well, as the world has evolved, technology has gotten better. This is what happens. We have to get involved. But what we don't have to do is keep giving other countries money. And I bring COVID-19 relief fund quite a bit up because it's the truth. I think that was the most blunt slap in the face of American taxpayers ever. Why? Because they took our money, the one that the American people pay taxes, and gave it to another country when our country here was suffering. And what do? We'll give you a $600 stimulus. Well, what are you doing with $600? You can't even pay rent in the state of California with $600. Today, it's only 6 tanks of gas that you're getting with $600. And we're supposed to be happy about it. No, we need to stop that BS. We need to take care of American people with our American dollars more than other countries at this moment. That's why you need somebody in Congress who says enough is enough. You need somebody in Congress who actually understands what it's like to go out to the gas pump today and put $120 every other day in gas just to get to work and back home. But now you have a decision to make. Am I going to go grocery shopping today with the same $100, or am I actually going to put a tank of gas in my car? We should have never gotten to this point. Why are we getting gas and fuel from other countries that their ships pollute more than California does? They pollute more sitting in our harbors, dumping out the oil, than what California produces in a year. Yet we're okay with this. We need to put an end to this. We need to start doing offshore drilling out of the state of California. California was the #1 leader in the United States for crude oil, and it supported the United States. And now we're begging other countries for their fuel. What is wrong with our administration? What is wrong with our president? What is wrong with our congressmen and senators who are representing the American people? They're not representing us. They're representing their special interests. And that's what we got to stop. We need to have a voice in Washington, D.C. that says, you know what? Enough is enough. We need to take our own oil. We need to drill our own. We need to be American self-sufficient, and we need to be America first. And I need help. I know there's other people running for Congress in other districts that will come to the aid and help us pass laws that are for America first. What about our jobs? Why are we subbing our jobs out to other countries? Lithium batteries could be done here in America. We have the lithium mines that we could take it and build our own batteries if you want us to go all green. Why are we going to another country and getting it? Why are we supporting other people? We need to start supporting our own country and our country first. And we need people in office that don't give a damn and will stand up there and say, enough is enough. We are American people, and our Americans need to come first. That's why I'm running for Congress. I'm that voice. But I also know other people have the same voice that we can get in there and make a difference. So, foreign policies, yes, to protect our freedoms, to protect our rights, to defend America. But do we need to be putting our noses in everybody's business? No, we don't. We don't need to get in there and put our noses in everybody's little problems. Other countries need to fend for themselves. Why? And you hear me talk about this a lot. The Second Amendment. Why do I believe so hard and solely in the Second Amendment? I'll make it simple. Look at Cuba. Cuba is a perfect example on why our Second Amendments need to be stand and they need to be fought for. But our Second Amendments need to be fought for by the Constitution of the United States, by the law of the Constitution of the United States, not by asking permission to carry concealed weapons that if the sheriff feels you don't need to, you don't. We have got to go back to being a constitutional country and having our constitutional rights given back to us and not be given away to us. That's the problem. And that's why I believe so hardcore in the Second Amendment. Whether you like guns or not, you don't need to go purchase one. But the ability to purchase one should be your God-given right. And it's the rights of our Constitution, and we should stand behind them. Anybody tells you anything different than that, they're not a constitutionalist. If somebody says you need to carry concealed, they are wrong. You do not need to ask permission to have, own, or carry a firearm. That's not what the Constitution of the United States states. Not that everybody deserves to buy one. I believe in background checks. I believe that we should have the right people carrying a gun. But I also believe that you should have the right under the Constitution to carry any firearm that belongs to you legally. We need to stop going against the legal firearm owners and start going after the illegal ones. That's why border security is so important. We need to stop sex trafficking, weapon trafficking, human trafficking. We need to stop the drugs from coming into our country. That's what Congress can do. And I'm not talking about going to Texas. Why is it that Congress people or senators from California always got to go to Texas and talk about the border problem? Did you forget San Diego? Baja, Mexico? Why are we going somewhere else and looking for their problems? Why is it so easy to point the finger? Let's start pointing at where it's at. California's in dire need. California, we are dying here. We can't afford to go out and eat dinner. We can't afford to go to the grocery store. We can't afford to live, let alone rent or buy a place in California right now. I don't care what's going on in Texas today. I care about what's going on in California because these are the people of my state. I need to be able to protect the people of my district and my state, and that's why I get hired by the California District 13 to go be in Congress. I love Texas. I think Texas has a great governor. They have a great system, but we need to take care of California because we're dying. We are in dire need because the governor of Texas doesn't want an open border and California government wants the borders to be open. And I agree with you 100%. Texas has a lot stronger laws on immigration. But here's the catch. Why are we going there and showing their problem? Because the problem's worse in California when everybody just keeps coming in. Sex trafficking is through the roof in the state of California. Drugs are coming in through the southern borders of California every day. Nobody's stopping it. We need border security. We need international border securities. We need to secure our borders, not for the illegal immigrants, but as much as for the drugs and the sex trafficking that's coming into the state. We need to refocus. We also need jobs to come back into California. We need to help deregulate California so that more people go to work in California. We need to get offshore drilling in California so our gas prices drop. It is insane what is going on. You look at your roads right now. They're not fixed. Yeah, where the hell is the gas tax going? Where's the gas tax going? Because it's not going on our roads. It's not helping us with anything. Yet you had assemblymen have an opportunity to show up and vote to reduce gas by 50%, by 50 cents, excuse me. And they said no. Adam Gray did not show up to vote. He's an absentee voter. He never shows up to vote when it counts. Yet he wants to be the next congressman for District 13. What a shame. What a scandal to the District 13 when the assemblyman cannot even show up there and save you 50 cents a gallon in gas. Yet he wants to represent you in Washington. How can he represent you in Washington when he can't even represent you in District 22? That's the stuff that we have to stop. And we have got to stop it now. Somebody talked about term limits. There are term limits. Let me say that again. Term limits exist. You, me, and every other American has the right not to vote for these people, have the right. We have the right to stop voting for these people. There's your term limits. You want them gone? Get a candidate in there. Push somebody in there. Doesn't matter the party lines. Parties have failed the American people. The parties have failed the California people. We have got to unite as Americans. We have got to unite as Californians and God-loving, free American people who want a better future. That's what we have to do. Forget about your party lines. Parties have failed us. Representation here. Let me show it to you. 150 Republicans who are in office today, whether they're sheriffs, city council, county council, part of the California GOP, central committees, the people that are supposed to help Republicans are endorsing a Democrat by the name of Adam Gray in District 13 for Congress. What a hoax. How dare they call themselves Republicans? The worst part is these Republicans that are endorsing a Democrat go to Republican Central Committees, Women's Federation, CRAs, MCAs, and guess what? They ask for their endorsement. They ask for their help. They ask for you to help that Republican candidate win when he's endorsing a Democrat. What has our nation come to? And these organizations endorse these people. They go out and they walk. They get them elected. And their pull now is helping a Democrat get into office. What a shame. We have got to take a quick break here on KPS DB Radio. We'll be right back in 30 seconds for all of you. Want to thank all our sponsors that are joining us today and helping this program keep going on the radio wave. We will be back in just a few minutes with Diego Martinez, candidate for Congress in District 13. I actually did talk about AB 223, and I brought it up on something else the other day. I would have to go back and look at my notes, but I will bring it back up here in a little bit. But left and the right by GOP politicians, he's selling himself out. Unfortunately, in a fellow Catholic, but even I can see how he has little knowledge of programs. I will actually address that here in a little bit. Let's see. We need change big time. I can't leave California either. I love California. So we're going to be back on the air here in just a couple of seconds, guys. So just hang in tight, and we will go over this one more time. Thank you all for joining me today, especially on social media. I know we have some technical difficulties. We got about another 15 minutes to go, because this is being Santacast over KPSF DB Radio. So they only allowed us X amount of time by the time they put all the promotions and everything else in place. So we are actually live on the radio station, but they run a little bit pretty much behind our show. We are back right now on KPSF DB Radio and all over the internet under Diego for Cali 2022. If you're on Facebook, Diego Martinez for Congress, District 13. Facebook, Diego Martinez for Governor, unofficial. It's also going out. We also have this on YouTube. You can look me up on Diego Martinez for Congress, District 13. And this is what we are talking about this morning. Welcome back, everybody, on KPSF DB Radio. We talked a little bit about what's going on with election integrity. I'm going to read a couple of the questions that we had during the break. So we need change big time. I can't leave California, so we can fight by being active in civics, hold our representatives accountable. Perfect gesture right there, because that's what's going on. I grew up in California. California is the only place I know. I've been to Missouri for a year. I've traveled the United States for a little bit, but California is my home. This is where we immigrated to in early 1980. We came to San Francisco. We lived in Stockton. California is my land. I want to fight. I want to let people know that the American dream is alive. And yeah, it can happen here in California. It has happened to me, and it has happened to a lot of more immigrants who actually believe in the basics. Coming here, putting your head down, getting educated, going to work, doing a job, saving money, and actually investing in our future. That's what the American dream really is about, right? Being able to be anything you want, no matter where you come from, no matter what part of society you ever came from. The American dream has always taught you could be poor today and die rich. Right? I read this thing yesterday. I actually saw the video. And I kind of want to share this with you because it really touched home with me. A gentleman sat up on a stoop and he said, and I'm going to try to put it on my social media so you guys can actually see it a little bit better, because it really made sense. He said, my grandfather walked 10 miles to work. My father walked 5 miles to work. I drive a Cadillac. My son drives a Mercedes. My grandson drives a Ferrari. My great-grandson will walk to work. Hard times make strong men. Easy times make weak men. If that makes sense. So if you look at society in general, that's the American dream. My mom came to the United States when we were young. There was 5 of us. She raised us in a waitress salary. She made strong men and women because we had tough times. Tough times make you stronger, not weaker. My kids, as much as I love them, I made them weak by not making them work for everything because I didn't have everything growing up. So I want to make sure my kids have better than us. And a lot of you can actually relate right now to exactly what I'm saying. So our kids aren't quite as strong as us. We gave them everything. They're giving everything to their kids, but they're going to give their kids more than what we gave them. Now, their next generation is going to do the same thing. And what we're doing, easy times create weak people. Hardship makes you who you are. Hardship and what your struggles are make you strong enough to actually stand up and fight. That's the generation that we need in America right now. We need strong, able people to fight for our freedoms, for our rights. That's what we need. Right now, California is in the shithole. We need to fix California, but we need to fix America before we don't have an America to fight for. We need people in Congress who are actually going to stand up and do something and say something. I had another one here. Giglio is being endorsed by the left and the right, GOP politics. He is selling himself out. Unfortunately, I'm a fellow Catholic, but even I can see how he has little knowledge to problems here. We have been in different debates. I met David. I'm running because when I came into District 13, David was the only candidate. I heard him speak. I didn't think he knew he was very strong candidate. When I saw that 150 other Republicans who were in office had already endorsed a Democrat candidate, they felt the same way I did. That David Giglio wasn't a strong enough candidate. I'm not going to talk bad about the guy. What I'm going to do is ask you guys to go look on my social media pages where you can see our debates that happen from the Modesto Bee, the Fresno Bee, the American Elderly. Go look at the debates and get your own opinion about him. Because I believe that we should do our own researches about candidates. I don't believe talking ill about other Republican candidates unless they actually step really out of line. The problem with David Giglio and my book is that he forgot. And I'll talk about this a little bit. And I know people in the Central Valley are probably going to throw crap at me right now when I say this. Congress does not have control on water. Congress can do very little on water, especially the United States Congress. So when you have a person running for office that all their platforms about water, you have a problem. Let me ask you guys this, especially in the Central Valley. If a freshman congressman thinks he's going to change water, why did you reelect McCarthy? Why have you reelected Tom McClintock? Why have you reelected anybody in office, Davin Nunes, or anybody who ever talks about water? Because they can't do anything about it, and they've been there for years. So you think a freshman congressman is going to do something about water? Let me break it down to you guys. The water money is already set aside in the state of California. We have billions of dollars sitting there waiting to be used for water. You want to change water in the Central Valley? You want to change water in California? Change your senators in the state of California and your assemblymen. Stop listening to congressmen who are promising you water rights that you're never going to get. They're never going to be able to do anything. Why? Because Donald Trump and McCarthy already signed an agreement about water in California, less water than we were going to dump, but there's still billions of dollars sitting in the California House with the water rights that can actually go right now and get used for water storage and everything that we need for water, because it's a state issue. Giglio tries to say this is a world issue. No, this is a California issue that we need to address in California. But you need your assembly and your senators of the state of California to get together and actually get their heads out of their butts and actually do something about water. Adam Gray got a water plan, and he'll brag about it if you ever listen to him. And you got to ask yourself, well, you're going to Congress. Why is an assemblyman talking about water? Because they're the ones who actually control the water. Your assembly and your senators can push the governor to actually get the water plan going and get the water fixed. Congress, we have very little to do with the water. So it's a shame when I watch people sit there and flat out lie to people that are dying for water and say, vote for me because I'm going to fix the water problem. When they say that, you go, what makes you so much different than Tom McClintock, McCarthy, Nunes, Valadez, or any other person who's been in Congress. Josh Harris, here's a leftist. Here's a Democrat. Josh Harris, who Turlock, Stanislaus. Why haven't they fixed the water? Because they can't. It's all here in California. It's your assemblymen and your state senators who need to be pushing for the water, need to get out there and fight and get our money to actually get back into the water. It's not your congressman. Congressmen use that as a punchline to get elected. But the reality is they need to actually be focusing on your assembly and your senators in the state of California to actually get that budget, get it to go to use, and get it to actually be able to put the water rights where they belong. Yet nobody wants to talk about that. So that's my problem with David Gillio a little bit. He wants to talk about water. He wants to lie to people and say, I got a water plan. Well, your water plan isn't going to do anything. So run for state assembly or run for state senate and actually put your water plan to work. Adam Gray got his plan from Harris Ranch. From Republicans gave him a water plan because they're supporting him and they're giving him money to be able to run his campaign. It's exactly right. Mike Grover, these people are saying what they want you to hear. They're not telling you the truth. That's what separates me from the other candidates running for Congress. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you what's going on and how's it going. Like me or not, yeah. I'm a little rough around the edges, but I'm a straightforward person that's going to tell you the truth and tell you what I can and can't do. But I will promise you this. When I get into office, I will fight for each and every single person in the 13th district and everywhere else in America who is unjustly being supported or represented by a wrong party or a wrong person. I'm not a career politician, nor do I want to be one, but I want to make a difference. I want to make a difference in this country, the country that's given me more than anything else. We need to repeal Proposition 47, criminals in and out of jail everywhere. 100% agree with you. That is actually a state issue that the state needs to actually wrap their hands around and actually, again, assembly and people running for Senate. That's why it's so important, guys, that you guys go out to these meet and greets, whether you like the candidate or not. This is a good time. This is the best time for you to actually get to know somebody in person. You go out there, you talk to them, you say, hey, Proposition 47, and they look at you and go like, what's that? You got the wrong candidate. You're applying for a job and you don't even know what the job is. Proposition 59, you don't know what it is? Maybe you need to go do some research and then come back and talk about this, because those are the people who are actually making these laws. These are the people that are passing them. These are the people that should get involved in this. Well, me and Daniel Mercury, somebody says we need you and Daniel Mercury. Daniel Mercury will be up in Sonora, March 1st, 8 a.m., 10 a.m., pancake breakfast, Adam Motorsports off Tuolumne Road. You guys are anywhere around the area of Sonora, take the small drive, take it there, come up, come see Daniel Mercury, a guy running for Senate. Jack Griffin's also going to be there, Senate 4, which is Tuolumne County's district. He is going to be there representing his people, and you guys should come out and meet us. I'm also going to be there. Daniel Rico actually opened up his shop for us to be able to have a meet and greet. Why? May 1st, sorry, not March 1st. Why? Because he believes that every person should be able to speak to somebody running for office, because the blue collar worker, all of us are forgotten, should be able to speak to our representation and find out who they are. So I want to invite each and every single one of you guys out there, Adam Motorsports, May 1st, which is this Sunday, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Bring the family, bring the kids. We're going to have a great pancake breakfast. If you ride a motorcycle, bring it on down, because afterwards we all like to go riding. So we're going to go for about an 80-mile ride. Come on out, come join us, come see what we're about. And best of all, come meet the candidates who can represent you. They say what they want you to hear. I'm going to look a couple here. We got about 4 more minutes, guys. That's why when researching candidates, you need to look to their knowledge and solutions, making them himself well prepared to fight in the White House. I agree with you 100%. Look at each candidate. See what they're doing. Look at interviews. If they're reading a prompt, that means they don't know what they're talking about. That means they just Googled the answer that they just got asked. I caught a couple candidates reading the prompts on some of the stuff that we were doing this last week for District 13, and I'm like, man, you don't know that? You really don't know how we can fix wildfires in the federal government? Well, a lot of people don't understand that the forests out here are federal land. They're not really California land. So the California's in charge of trying to make the land work. Well, they haven't prevented the wildfires. They haven't helped. So the federal government can actually get involved, get logging back into federal land, sell the logs to pay for the expense so it doesn't cost California taxpayers not a penny, American people not a penny. Why? Because the money will get actually produced from the lumber that we sell. But what it will do for California people and people surrounding the federal government land is be able to give them an opportunity to work. We could create more jobs in California by just letting the federal government come in and clean up the federal land in the state of California, taking it away from the state, taking that money to apply into jobs and our forest management. That's how you pay for it. You make roads. We get there so that we can actually go there and fight a wildfire before it spreads. We stop making fires a profit center for people, and we start making it a better and safer place for Californians to live. Because paradise could have been saved, but we couldn't get to the fire fast enough. Why? Because there's no lumber. There's no timber being cut down. We can't get into the road. We have got to come together for a better solution for our state. We have got to create jobs. We have to create the ability to live in the state of California, which we don't have right now. We need the right people in office to represent us, to make sure that we get the best out of them. And if you don't like the person running, if you think the term limits doesn't exist, stop voting for the people. It makes it a lot easier when you stop voting for somebody to get them out of office. I am not impressed with anyone reading a prompt. Me neither, but you got to watch these people, watch the interviews, watch them look up right here and their camera's right here. And you can tell that they're reading and if you watch when they're not answering, they're Googling the answer already. That's not a real person. That's not who I want representing me. You might as well not take anybody at that point. That's why we have been failed. We as Americans have been failed by the representation that we have had. We have got to start standing up, standing together. Get your neighbors, your friends involved. Mike Grover, thank you for joining us this morning out here. Mike Grover actually ran in the recall also. Good to see you back on the internet, buddy. This is about all the time we have today. I'm sorry, guys. We started early today because we are on the radio. We have got a time limit of how long we can be here. I'd like to invite everybody one more time. May 1st, Adam Motorsports in Tuolumne County. Come meet Daniel Mercury. Come meet Jack Griffin. Come meet Diego Martinez, who's running for Congress. We're going to also try to get some local representation of guys that are running for local office in Tuolumne County to come join us, because we believe that everybody should have an opportunity to meet who's representing them, whether it's local or whether it's federal. Real quick, I got a couple minutes. I'm going to tell everybody, take a look at everybody's office. Next week, we're going to describe what each office represents and what they can and cannot do in the local level. Federal government or people running for Congress have very little to say what the police does in your local jurisdiction. Calabunga, I don't have enough time to answer that here, but I will bring that up next week, or maybe in the middle of the week here. I'll do a special thing about Michael Schensberg, and we'll talk about that. Guys, thank you for joining me today. This is Diego Martinez, candidate for Congress in District 13. Please like and share my videos. Please donate to my campaign, because your money is actually going to signs, and we have to get radio advertisement and television advertisement going right now. So please, if you can find it in you and you like my show and you like what I do, please go to the links underneath and please donate to my campaign. Every little bit helps. We are being self-funded right now, and a lot of you have stepped up and helped us with $25, $30, $100, $1,000, whatever you can do. Put it in there. If for some reason you can't donate money, I understand. Times are tough right now, but please come out and volunteer to one of my events. Come volunteer to walk the precinct and do some handouts. If anything, if you can't do any of that because time consuming, hit like and share the video to all your friends and neighbors so they can know that there's a real candidate running that wants to represent us, the American people in California. My name is Diego Martinez, and I want to thank each and every single one of you for joining me this morning. And I want to thank the people that are listening out there on KPSF DB Radio for tuning in every week. Have a great day, and we'll see you guys next time. Hope to see you guys on May 1st.